Hi everyone. What I'm going to do is show you how I focus on recalibration and resetting back into the moment rather than clearing. I do this focus of the moment and all of the feelings and sensations and sounds I anchor in with my breath in my body. When we focus on clearing anything within our space, the vibration is that there is something wrong with the moment and it must leave. There is never anything wrong with the moment. The moment is perfect the way that it is. It is heaven, and we don't know how it's perfect. It is in manifest form, and whatever it is that is in manifest form is perfect. Rather than clearing or saying that there's something wrong with the moment, I bring my vision, breath, experience into the moment fully. Any cell memory that's associated with the imagery in the tarot is brought back into the moment. So that is basically how I clear. But I call it recalibration. When you are in the moment, you let go. You let go of the past and you let go of the future. If you are thinking about the past or the future or the harsh quality, then you are holding on to it. Even if you set the intention of letting go of this harsh thing, you are still thinking or being that harsh thing because it is in your world. Rather than perceiving a harshness, we just focus on the moment, especially the experience of the sensations of the breath. That brings us into our body, which is the experience of matter. I call this an art form because it takes observational skills. Any art is observation. I'll have visions. Usually I have visions. Sometimes it's just a knowing. Sometimes it's just sensing or feeling, but it's an observational skill. And so what I like to do is take all of my cards and make them all upright. This is for like a really hard reset. And then I will put them in order by number. Each element I'll have an order specific to an intention. The elements are associated with directions, like the east, south, west, and north. And then I will smudge it with sage or Palo Santos. I would make an altar and place it on the altar. And I will come to my space that I have. So I have a piece of fabric here and it's a specific color. I like the green. And it has the flower of life, which is associated with the divine masculine, which is also associated with the lily. The divine feminine is associated with the pattern of the rose, the vibration of Venus. So I choose the divine masculine. The light of awareness is that vibration. So it makes my readings very obvious for people. So it's very clear and easy to receive. Okay. Oh yeah, and I also use crystals. And I'll show you how to use the crystals. I focus on my rose quartz. It's such a surrender type of loving, surrender to divine love, vibration. I have this crystal matrix. It's 4 different crystals in one matrix, and I call this one rose. So I'll have the divine masculine sacred geometry with a rose, feminine geometry. And the rose quartz is very feminine as well. I like to be focused with my color. This has a very impactful vibration. It's intense. It's magenta. Magenta is the vibration of unconditional love, but the color of the heart space. And you're a child, when it's just loving to love and be loved. There's no intention, it's a green chakra when there's healing in the heart. Okay, so I think that's it. So that's good for the intro. Thanks for watching. So if you don't have something like this, you don't have to have it. It just came into my world, so I chose to use it. That doesn't mean that you have to. You can use your imagination. You don't even need to use tarot cards. It's just something that we feel passionate about, right? Feel passionate about it. My heart, I know, is calling to it. That's why I choose tarot. You can really just hold someone's hands. Anything that we do form in a self-sustaining way, because everything is within us. Every single little thing that we do, we're able to take away the extras. Like, this is just an extra. I don't have to use this to be psychic. But it is helpful in the sense of like a reference part of my process, because it's been given to me in some way, shape, or form. Like, it's here. So I choose what I would consider the oldest symbol in humanity that has been discovered. And in my heart, I feel that, yes, this is true. It's a cross, like this, with equal sides, like a plus sign, and then it has a circle around it. And I start in the center, because the center is where we are. Like, this is the present moment. This is where your heart is. Your heart is always in the present moment. Source, the universe, is always in the present moment. This, you could consider as above the masculine, because the masculine qualities, the light of awareness, it just means obvious. And the sun is our light, so it would be high up. Feminine is down here, because below our feet, this is us in the middle, below our feet is the earth, and the earth is a description of the feminine, because the earth is like a womb. It has a darkness in the middle. It has a stillness. The line of our chakras too. And then I would place this in the past. It represents cell memory. It also represents the line of our consciousness. So our consciousness tells stories, and it goes to the past and it goes to the future. The momentum. There's a momentum into the future, right? But it's still an illusion. And the past is in our DNA. I'm sure the future is too, because the DNA is so multi-dimensional like that. But this is like that linear, masculine kind of pattern, perspective. I always make this plus sign, and that's how I start. The feminine, so we're going to open a circle. We're going to go towards the left, towards the heart. And I'm using my body to describe the left, okay? Then I place it back up top, and then I go around. So, if you can see, I'm making sure, because this is art, and I'm being observant, and I'm resetting. So, I'm to the best of my ability, I will keep the cards aligned with each other, right? So, if you are specifically reading for somebody, and you know, like, okay, I'm about to read for someone, whoever I'm reading for, the qualities and the dynamic of this reset will show me insights into the reading itself, into their qualities and into their, dynamic, okay? So if you are reading for somebody, I would pay attention to if you forget to do a certain step. That's part of their reading, that next person's reading. If you don't align them like perfectly, or if you're going really fast, you're rushing, or you feel anxious, or about like where to set it, or like you feel scattered, or you feel slow, or you feel overly precise, like you have to make every little adjustment, like that's a big one. I usually get that one actually from people. It's common, but and then like it has to be a certain way. Those are all showing you that this is part of the reading for what's coming up. So now I have a circle, a sacred circle that I created. I'm just got a vision of flipping the deck, okay? I saw it in my mind's eye. I'm going to do it. I'm listening to that. So I flip the deck, and I'm going to do a plus again. Over the center. I like to do it that way too when I'm resetting, just really paying attention and doing it, everything over the center, okay? So that's where your heart is. So the next steps get a little bit more complicated, but they're not that complicated, really. You'll get it. And I do it this way because I am tuning into the sacred geometry, okay? So, and as I do this sacred geometry, I start to the left. I don't always start that way. Sometimes I start to the right. I follow what my intuition is saying, that vision again. But to the left, and then I make this my reference point as to where to go, okay? And this one, and this one, and this one. I use them as guidance. So I went to the left, so I'm going to go down here and go to the right of the downtown card. And I'm going to cross over, okay? Here. And then go back up to the next one, to the right of this top card, okay? And so, since I'm up here, I want to go back across, okay? So I pick this card to go across to. The next one below this one. So then I go above the one over here. See how this is my reference point. These are my anchors. And then down here. And then this one is across from this one, okay? Like a crystal grid. I make energy movement grid, okay? And I do that. As I do this, this is when I start really getting into it, okay? And my body will rock back and forth. I will focus only on my breath, very focused, intensely. It's like a dance. The rhythm, and in my mind's eye, I can see the sacred geometry building up. And just like you can see this sacred geometry on the fabric here, it looks like a ball. This is 2-dimensional, but if it was 3-dimensional, it would be like a ball. In my imagination, I feel and I sense and I see this ball of sacred geometry growing and expanding and getting brighter and brighter and brighter in color, in light. Because when I see something like that in my mind's eye, it's always made out of light. In my mind's eye, I would like to tell you, I saw it flip again. And so I go back to the foundation. And the foundation, see how I did this? That would be part of the next reading for who I read for, you know? So you would know, oh, I had this misstep. Based on how that felt to go oh. For me, it felt like I forgot something. You know, and I wanted to go to the heart to remember, and then I went back to set it down. And if you don't keep track, if you accidentally set one down, and you're I don't know if I did or not, it's okay. Let it be that way. It was meant to be that way. And move on. And just recognize it's perfect in its own way, okay? So it's asking me to flip again. Do the same thing. But breathe. See how I did it? Just pay attention to that. Okay. Asking flip, and it's asking to cut it 3 times and flip. Okay. Oh, it went to the bottom. That's new. I just felt it. My hand just did it. Flip again. So now I'm seeing a purple, a bright purple, almost like a slate purple color. And it's not dark, It's more of like if the sky were purple instead of blue. Got a little bit of a slate color, slate grayish. But it's bright, and I can see the sacred geometry in my mind's eye, and it's growing and growing. In this spread, okay? So it's formed around this spread, just like it's like a ball of light, but with sacred geometry going through it. And I do see that it is the flower of life sacred geometry. I also see the Star of David in there, hexagon on the outside. That's what I saw so far. So, okay. Now we do this again. Okay. Flip. It just saw it in my third eye, in my vision, inner vision. Okay, so now as I expand and breathe into that sacred geometry, I saw it expand into the center, becoming magenta. And I saw a rose in that center part, and it's expanding and expanding. And seeing not only this ball with the sacred geometry, I'm seeing channels coming into, like they're made of white light, and they're like tunnels, and they're coming from all different directions. They are channels for beings to flow into this reading. So they're attractors is what I'm hearing, magnets. And bringing those people who will see this video specifically to the video with ease, so that it's and then easy for them to comprehend and receive the information. Okay, that's what I saw. See how 2 came out? When this happens, I tune into my intuition again, visions, and then I see which card goes down in my inner vision. I saw that that one went down and that one went up. Okay? And then my hand went down to the bottom again. So the body knows. The body just went to the bottom. And it did it again. Okay, and now you see I have 1 left. And that one is going to go back into the middle. And this represents the divine masculine, the divine feminine, in sacred union within the heart space. Now I've got this whole ball of sacred geometry, and I'm saying this is active surrender, because anytime you focus on sacred geometry and just the movement, these are the essence. There's no real story here, okay? Storytelling is the ego. This is just movement. This is just envisioning, seeing the sacred geometry. There's no real stories here. The stories that exist are like the ones I just said, of sacred union with the divine masculine, divine feminine, and then the cross has a story. Now, these are foundational stories that I've chosen so that I'm able to have a easy flowing language with the universe, okay? So, and if you are new to this, you'll see that you will develop the same thing, and then your stories will also shift. The thing about being alive as a human being is no matter what, we're going to tell stories. So this is how to choose the best stories that work the best for your life, your path, okay? As an oracle. How? Since I'm doing a reset, if I were to do a hard reset, I would make sure that all of the artistry is intact, so the integrity. So I would make sure that the cards are like aligned, set up nicely, and that you, as an artist, you notice things like how far away is this deck to this space? What's the spacing here? Is it the same as the spacing up here? Are these cards edges here and here aligned with the edges up here? And then you just shift it around if it's not. And then you do the same with, like, what does this empty space look like here? So you're going between the worlds, basically. And you're looking at the empty space to tell how these are lined up. And that's a part of art, and that's what I mean by being observant. And that's actually the power of art. And being an artist is learning focus. And focus is the essence of intelligence. So, this is the importance, how valuable art is. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a circle, and usually it looks like an eye to me. The all-seeing eye, the envision. So now I'm going to invite these rose quartz in here. The rose matrix. Put it right in the center there. I already charged these. I charge everything, crystals with my heart. And I will show that in another video. So now that I have the big crystal in the middle, I will start at the top, excuse me, in the same pattern, and then I choose a focal point on my crystal. So you see how there's a point here, and it's flat on this side. So I like to choose, or a focal point here. See how they come together? Oops, it comes together. Wherever there's a focal point, that's really what you focus on in crystal grids, because that's where the laser beam precise quality is. Okay, movement of the energy, the flow. So yeah, I do it this way, and so I go in the same pattern. It depends on inner knowing again. Sometimes it doesn't have me do the same pattern, but now it's telling me to do it the same pattern. And so this way we're anchoring in that sacred geometry. We're really like setting it, so that's the intention. So that it's through a loving voice, through loving compassion and wisdom. Without expectations, how it should be. Yeah. And focusing on surrendering with the imagery, and whatever the imagery is that comes up, and and focusing on letting go of assumptions of the imagery and expectations of the imagery. When you just focus on patterns and the light and how it forms, then that is active surrender, because now you are giving it to the universe to decide. You're not saying any other intention other than shape and form, basically. Okay, so now I have it like this, and usually I stand up, or I just put my hands over into the bubble, right? I can actually feel its heat. Then I do Reiki, and I just focus on bringing in the divine masculine and divine feminine, masculine, divine feminine. So say this is your body and these are your chakras. You breathe in through the top of your head, and you breathe in through your tailbone into your heart space. On your exhale, you breathe out love through your arms, and the love of the divine masculine, the love of the divine feminine. You just place your hands here, and that's all you focus on. You don't focus on like any other intention other than allowing that to flow, and that whatever the flow is, whatever you feel in your body is good enough. If we start believing like, oh, I don't feel it, it's not working, I must try harder, then you're resisting what is. Rather, we want to like put our hands in, do the Reiki, breathe into our heart and through our hand. Like, if we don't feel it, recognize that that's exactly what's meant to happen, and it doesn't mean it's not flowing. Really focus on that sacred geometry and that ball being really bright, really big, and those channels that we talked about being really bright and really big, and watch them just change, and be open to the colors that are there. And they could be, all types of colors, even colors you've never seen before. Okay? So that's how we do this, with as little expectation as possible. Close it. We're going to take all of this ball, and we're going to smush it. and smush it. It's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's going to get more dense and more dense and more dense, brighter and brighter and brighter, and so focused that it's almost like a laser. Okay. The vision that I had while I was talking about this was just taking, this isn't always what I do, but just taking the crystals like this and making them go in circle. And I went the opposite direction than opening. So when we open the circle, we go to the left. We go towards the heart, okay, in our body. When we close the circle, we're going to go towards the right. And we're going to keep all the crystals, sorry I moved it, but we're going to keep all the crystals in this circle. Like that, okay? And now I'm hearing to take all the crystals and pull them to the center, to the heart, and above. And I heard, rise it up. So that we have it real focused right here, okay? So now I'm hearing when we take the cards, we're going to do the same same thing, except we're going to take this off, place it over here with the other crystals. Feeling our hearts grateful for it. Take this top card, place it on the top, and go around. Oops, like this. All the way around. And as we do this, we're going to envision and breathe into that sacred circle, that geometry, and watch it get smaller and smaller and smaller, like a spiral. We're going to place this card on the bottom of the deck to seal the deal, okay? And when we do that, it's like, this is a really compacted sacred geometry in laser beam light color, and like moving, it's moving in the deck, all right? So that's the vision. It's recalibrated into the moment, and it's surrender as well. Yeah, so that's the way that you do it. Thanks for watching this one.